Well, it'd be Tuesday evening. How's everybody doing out there? We've got a very special guest tonight. Just an extraordinary YouTube creator that adds a different bit of spice into a lot of his videos, including the one I saw that he just put out today with his wife. I saw you had that little bit in there where you ran the video backwards.
Yep. Some people were very confused by that, but that was just me having some fun with folks.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you, do you do that, Morgan, just so people like myself have something to look forward to?
So it's actually three reasons that I do it. Number one, it's some fans of their videos I find get a kick out of it and find it funny. Two, I actually think that sometimes it just makes it a little bit more interesting and makes people pay attention more. And then three, and this is I think appropriate for the audience here on Tech Tuesday, right? I actually find that by doing weird stuff like that, it helps my video retention rate. Because when people see something like that, and I'm happy to show you guys my retention graph for that video that you showed with me pouring the water, you'll see this massive spike that happens right in that moment, and that spike actually helps your overall retention rate and keep a more engaged viewer. And so it's been something I've been playing around for a little while, and I'm doing it a little bit more blatantly lately. I also oftentimes will put text on the screen, but only have it on there for a second, so that if anybody really wanted to read it, they'd have to pause and go back to the video and do that. All of it in the name of, finding the best way to just keep people watching, keep people engaged with the video, but also make it fun so that it's not like a chore and it's annoying them. So that's why I do those things.
Well, you're not alone in doing that. I've seen some other people that do that from time to time in other niches and genres and what have you. And there's a fellow by the name of the guitarologist. I don't know if you ever heard of him or not. He's out of the Louisville area in Kentucky, and he's got quite a following, like yourself there. But he's a little bit rough around the edges sometimes. But he will frequently put some things in his videos that are in there for a matter of maybe 3 frames. I
haven't quite gone to the Fight Club level of splicing stuff in yet, but I don't know. I think it just makes it more interesting. The video I put out was yesterday. I'm scraping the snow off my wife's car, and at one point I just quickly reverse it so it looks like I'm putting snow back on the car. And it's wait, what happened there? I don't know. It's just kind of
absolutely, absolutely. Well, the other thing that you do a fair amount of is you insert comments that come out of other videos, or out of movies, out of television, or whatever. So do you have a whole library of stuff that you certainly can't remember all these shows. How do you come up with this?
It actually is me just kind of thinking about moments where usually I'm watching a clip and I say something, and then I have a movie quote or something that it reminds me of a meme I've seen or something like that. And so
you really you don't have a source? You don't have a library? You just dial up and say, okay, I need...
Yeah, no, it's just me free associating and I said that. That kind of reminded me of that one scene in Terminator when he had the crazy vision. So let me find that clip and then I'll just drop that in. So it's, there's no people have asked me that before too. It's I don't have a database or I don't have a tool or anything I use. It's just...
Well, can people use you for a service?
I don't know about it. I don't know if I'd be able to handle it.
So anyway, you have the entire screen, my friend.
All right.
And I know that one of the questions that a lot of people have is, okay, how did you duplicate yourself 4 times into a video? And granted, it's not a lot of time here. It's a 7 or 8 second clip, something like that. But you did a nice job. Timing was very good. And first tell me, did you use just one camera to do this? Because that's what I suggested that you did last week.
Yeah, sure. So the way I did it, and I'll take you guys into Premiere, and I'll even show you exactly how I did it in a couple minutes. But let me explain the theory first. So it's basically like the Parent Trap effect, right? So you remember the movie in the, I don't know, 50s or 60s with Haley Mills where, you know, she played the two twins, and most of the way that they did that is the same special effect that I used for the water pouring, where I just set my camera down on a tripod and was exceptionally careful to make sure I didn't move it. Also careful to like make sure Toby, my dog, didn't bump into it, because I actually tried to do it in a previous video and the shot got screwed up because he like knocked into the camera and everything was off, and then the whole shot doesn't work. But if you can set your camera down in a perfectly fixed way, and then I made sure I had the water arranged so that I could stand behind the water buckets or the dishes, and make sure that no part of me was overlapping with another part of me for each time I was pouring a bucket of water. And so I just went in and filled the buckets up just like I do every morning. Dumped the bucket, dumped another one, dumped another one, dumped another one. And then when I was editing, I basically layered like 4 or 5 clips on top of each other, and I cropped out pretty much everything but me pouring for each of those layers, and then sort of stacked them all up. And that's just what made the one single composite image.
Well, that's what I did last week, except I didn't have the advantage of the long clip. I had to cut yours apart, and I blocked it out with masks, but the same effect. Yeah,
that's really dedicated. Yeah. Here, let me hold on. I can do a screen share right now, and I'll show everybody how I did that part. Can you just confirm it? Can you see my Premiere desktop here?
What we see is Batman.
Oh, all you see is Batman, huh? Oh, that's just my desktop screensaver. It doesn't. Huh? How's this work in Skype? I don't usually use Skype. So
wait. Show me your desktop again. Are you showing your desktop now?
You should be seeing. Yeah, I clicked share on my desktop. You should see like Adobe Premiere.
Okay. At this point, I'm not. Hold on. Let me just see if it's come up somewhere else here.
It looks like I'm sharing it. It's got the red ring around it.
What I am seeing, Morgan, is... wonder why it's not showing. I wonder. Content view.
You have to hand it over to Morgan like you do with Crystal.
Huh.
I'm going to stop sharing and maybe try it again.
Okay, well, I have you, and now when you go to share, what is showing me on this, unfortunately, okay. I guess I can't remember ever trying to share this, because I'm pulling this off with NDI.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
it actually might be the NDI issue that it doesn't let you share through NDI.
And that's
a bummer.
And that's what I'm wondering. But I'm wondering why I don't see it myself over here. So
here, I've got a way to innovate and show everybody what I'm doing. Hang on a sec.
Okay.
Bear with me.
If not, I'll come up with a different way here.
Let's see. Is this gonna work? I don't know. Doing a handheld camera of my Premiere desktop might not be as useful for people as you might think.
Sherry wants to know how big the monitor is.
It's crazy big. I actually just got a new one. I think it's like 35 inches or something like that.
Yeah, I bought one.
And yeah, it's just because, I don't know, I was trying to get my taxes down to like 0 earnings for 2020, and I needed to upgrade some equipment, and so yeah, I just got the new monitor. It's great. It's like the single best productivity upgrade you can make, and it's not that expensive. It was like, I don't know, $450. So no.
All right, Morgan, let me try something here.
Okay. Here, while you do that, Sherry, how are you doing?
I'll bring my microphone over here because usually it's hiding. I'm doing just fine.
All right.
Yeah, I just told Daryl I need that monitor. I like that.
I will tell you, it makes such a difference having the monitor, like the giant monitor, because so I got a new at the end of the year. I got a new computer and I got the new monitor. So I got like one of those Mac Minis, which are like crazy cheap. I mean, relative to other Macs. And I was like, well, then let me get a nice monitor to go with it. And like I can do split screen. I can have so many windows up at once, which is probably not the best thing, but it's great for me just as I'm working on stuff. Oftentimes while I'm editing, I'll have Premiere up on like 2/3 of the screen and like a window with YouTube up on the other third of the screen, so I can have something like background noise going, and it's great. I love it.
Oh yeah, that one monitor would probably be the 3 monitors that Daryl has in front of him.
These are 24s, and that's a 27.
So
Yeah.
it's close. Yeah. Is it curved?
It's got like a slight curve to it.
Yeah.
It's not dramatic.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. I just have my laptop monitor.
Morgan, if you would, check your mail.
Okay.
You have mail.
Yes,
Oh, that
you-
was AOL.
Well, just remind him.
That was back in the day.
He'll find the clip and insert in the proper video.
All right. I just got the Zoom link. Should I disconnect from Skype and do that?
Yeah, let me. I'll pull myself back over here to the screen, and we'll just pop you back in here with the Zoom link. So it's up and going, and we're waiting on you.
Now, see, you have a yarmulke on.
I have a yarmulke.
Well, look at it.
Well,
Looks
be
like a
darned.
yarmulke.
I guess it does. How about that?
I did. I made him into a Jew.
Wow.
I finally did it. My mother would be so proud. Yeah, Crystal, I think that is needed for the new office of yours. One of those monitors.
All right. I'm back.
Okay, you are back. Let me. I just have to get you back on this end.
And let me know if you can see my Adobe Premiere screen.
Yes, I can. Okay, so your Adobe Premiere screen is now. Well, you should be able to see that I'm broadcasting it.
Yep. All right. Hang on. Bear with me here. It's loading up my clips. So, yeah. So, again, this was the water pour. And what I ended up doing is this. Let me hit- let me open this one. Okay. If I go back and look at the original footage, let's start there for everybody. I believe this is where it was. Close to here. It's always funny when you archive a video after editing it, you never look back on it and you're like, oh wait, what did I do here?
Yeah. How did I do this?
Yeah, exactly. Where did I?
Now, is that in Power Director that you're doing this?
No.
No, I use Adobe Premiere actually.
Okay, Adobe Premiere.
So,
okay.
yeah, I pretty much have for years just always known how to use like the Adobe suite.
Okay.
And for me, that's just always been the easiest. It's got a little bit of a learning curve, but I've found that overall, like, it's more flexible and it lets you do pretty much anything you can kind of come up with, as well as anything that your computer has the memory to do. Wait, where did I put it?
And of course, people are probably going to want to know: are you using a Mac or a PC?
He uses a Mac.
I use a Mac.
Okay.
I could answer that one.
And is this which version of Mac are you using? Because people want to know that next.
So it's one of the new M1. Here, let me show you guys about this Mac. It's the Mac Mini M1 chip series, 16 gigabytes of memory. So yeah, there you go. It's a good little computer. I've enjoyed it so far. So here's that sequence that I was talking about. So the overall clip of me pouring basically looks like this. So it's just me doing that, but I do it over and over and over again. And so if I read the attributes for a second. What you'll see is so you can see, but now as I add layers, so that's a layer, that one's a layer, and that one's a layer.
Right. Absolutely.
And the way you can control it is basically I put the crop effect on each layer of footage, and you can see the crop effect here on the left-hand side. If I hide the other layers, this will show you what's happening with just this one layer. So this is the only slice of this video that I'm using. And so I'm cropping out on the left. So I'm cropping that in. I'm cropping in on the right. So you can see that over here. So that comes in. And so I'm just using that sliver. The other thing I'm doing, which I actually think is important to make it look good, is I'm using something known as edge feathering. So it basically just softens the edges of the image so that it blends one layer into the other layer a little bit better. Like, so for example, I turned off the edge feathering. You can see it's a hard edge.
Right.
And if you're looking down below here, like you can kind of see the cut and the line and sort of the upper part of the sky, like right around here. Mm-hmm. But if you add that edge feathering back in, it's not nearly as noticeable. So like if you're actually looking for it and you're eagle-eyed, you can kind of see it, but it's sort of hard to see. And so that feathering technique lets you cover up like a lot of, slight imperfections that you might have, because especially with clouds, right? Clouds are usually always moving. And
right, exactly.
So this video here took me 4 or 5 minutes to shoot, like the whole sequence. So over the span of that 5 minutes, the sky and the cloud shifted a little bit. And so by using the feathering, it helps cover up the inconsistency.
Well, and being the overcast day, it made it all blend in much, much better. I think it'd be a lot tougher for you to do this in the summertime.
Yeah, no, if you had like a blue sky and big puffy cumulus clouds that were moving around, it would look much weirder. Because it's just sort of overcast and Vermont winter gray, it's like not too bad.
Absolutely.
So yeah, and I know it's really not much more than that. I mean, if everybody's curious about see what this looked like just in the raw, it's like just me going back over to my water station, getting the next bucket.
And you just walk over to your next pre-planned.
Wait for it to fill. Boom. And then I'm walking over to the next one, and sorry, not too fast. Then I'm just dumping that one. It's all there is to it. And then, so basically, each one of these slivers is another point of me filling one of the water pools.
Well, Morgan, the white bucket is what made it.
I did that actually intentionally. So when I'm filling up my water every morning, I usually have 2 buckets going, and I never stop. But I intentionally stopped a couple points when I was doing this one, so I could have it be like all that looks like the same bucket, but then there's one bucket that's not right. And I think it visually does something where, I don't know, it kind of like tricks the eye a little bit more and makes it seem more unintentional and weird, especially because I'm facing the other way too versus the other one. But yeah, that's just fooling around.
Morgan, Where to Begin Homestead's asking, how many cameras did you use? Just one?
Just one little GoPro stuck on like a little GorillaPod tripod lens. So this effect too, just for anybody who's watching this, it's relatively easy to do if you can figure out how to do the cropping. And as long as you plan out your shot, you can kind of pull off weird stuff like this too all the time.
And
And you can get all sorts of creative with this type of thing of cropping out the screen from one side to the other. Like, you can have a conversation with yourself where you're talking to yourself. You can, do this effect like I did it where like
I do that.
multiple people at once working. It's just really limited by your imagination there.
And for anybody in there wondering, you do not have to have Premiere Pro to do this. If you have Filmora, you can do it. If you have Power Director, you can use it. If you have pretty well most any semi-advanced editing software, you will be able to pull this off.
Vineyard Chicks asked, they said, too bad iMovie doesn't have line feathering. I don't know anything about iMovie.
Oh, the feathering part? Yeah. Again, I don't think that that's absolutely mandatory, but it helps make it look smoother. I'm trying to think other ways you could work around if you don't have edge feathering in your editor. I don't know. Again, you could like try to do a mask or a blur layer, but I'm not sure if other things. I'm admittedly, all I know is like Premiere Pro. I don't know really any other. Like I know Final Cut and I know Avid, but I don't know any other like editors like Filmora or Power Director I've never actually tried to use. So unfortunately, I'm not much help.
If you utilize, and this is just some tidbits for anybody out there that's maybe wanting to try this and you don't have that software. If you have like Filmora, if you have Power Director, the term feathering is not going to fit in with either one of those. However, I'm going to take it back. It does, but not in the context that he has here. What you're doing with those programs is you're actually creating a mask, what they're calling masking and feathering the edge of the mask, and you have the ability to feather that it's adjustable to a very wide feather to just a straight line. So you would do that with a mask, and you would just mask out, which is what he's done here. But you would just mask that out with just a mask. And so anybody that has questions directly regarding the software that Morgan's using, I'm sure that if you send him an email, I'm sure he will take time to answer it.
I can answer your Premiere questions. I can always help with that.
Yeah. If you have Filmora questions, I can help you there. If you have Power Director questions, I can help you there. Didn't I hear you say you have another program too that you?
Well, and Crystal uses DaVinci, so that's another one.
Well, DaVinci, that's another one that we use here. So, and Crystal Copper Kettle Farms is in here, and she also is a very adept editor. So.
Yep, she's another computer geek.
Yeah. But so that's pretty much how I did it.
I want to ask you what's your determining factor on making a video? How did you just wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to go duplicate myself 3 times in water buckets and do this today?
No, I think like that was just sort of spur of the moment. It was an idea I've had for like a couple of different videos. And like I said, I think I tried to do it the week before for my video, and my dog bumped into the camera, and so it kind of ruined the shot, so I just let it go. And I did it again. I mean, there's certain things that happen in my videos pretty regularly. Like I would say probably 2/3 of all my videos show me doing my basic morning chores every day. And so anything I can do to like just make it a little different and interesting, I usually try to do. So yeah, no, that one was like a spur of the moment decision. The way I do my overall video though, I actually really am intentional in terms of the title, the thumbnail, the first 30 seconds, kind of the story I'm trying to tell. I really do spend a lot of time ahead of time sort of coming up with ideas and being very intentional with what I want that to be. But then when it comes to actually making the video, certain little details like that, or the words that I use or how I present or anything like that, I just kind of go with it. And it's very spur of the moment and just me riffing. Because I worry that if I were to like try to work from a script or be too rigid in how I'm doing it, number one, I don't think it would come off as very natural or authentic. And then number two, I don't think I'd have much fun doing it. And so I'd much rather just be sort of loosey-goosey with how I shoot my videos, as long as I have kind of the basics of like, what's the story I'm trying to tell?
what's going to be interesting to people, and like, how do I keep people watching?
Okay, let me do this. We'll bring this over. Okay, so I've opened up the phone lines. If anybody would like to call in and ask Morgan a question, feel free to do that.
Question time. I always love talking YouTube stuff too. So please, by all
So it
means.
doesn't have to be just about this video. Anything that you, even if you have duck questions, this might be the guy to ask.
Yeah, duck questions, geese questions. You know, it's funny. I actually saw somebody posted, and there was a good discussion in the small YouTube homesteaders Facebook group today about growth and like how to get your channel going. How long does it take to grow? And, you know, is it a linear growth trajectory or not? And one of the things I was just looking at the other day, and so I like had the numbers easy and ready to like copy and paste to share with this person, was just how it doesn't grow linear. And like what I have found is the more you grow, the faster you grow. Like, so, you know, in the first year I had like, you know, less than, or just a little bit more than, less than 2,000 subscribers. But then, you know, even in the last year, I added more than 100,000 subscribers. And so it goes quick.
So help me, if you would, understand how you decide to make a video. Because I think that's the hardest thing for a lot of creators out there. You know, they've got a camera and they're doing their day-to-day things or whatever, but they don't know what to record. Or how involved is your planning stage, and so on. You know, give me the anatomy of a video.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So, I once a week very intentionally set aside about half an hour to just sit down and brainstorm ideas for titles, brainstorm ideas for thumbnails, brainstorm ideas for videos. And then also just sort of take a look at, well, what are my work plans for the farm that I have over the next month or two? And so I'm just very disciplined way once a week sitting down and doing that. The other thing I'm doing is I keep like an Evernote file where anytime I have an idea for a title or a video or a thumbnail, I just jot it down in there. So when I'm doing that brainstorm, I'm also looking at ideas that I might have come up on the fly, like, you know, for example, I'm working on this one talking about some advice that a former boss once gave me. And so like I looked at that the other day and I was like, ooh, yeah, you know, I want to like do like a whole thing on this. And so I started to plan out, well, then what would be interesting as a title to make people want to watch this? And then what would be interesting as a thumbnail? And then what gets people watching over those first few minutes? And like I start to plan that out. And so for every single video, I usually have a title, a thumbnail, the first 30 seconds, and then kind of a summary of what the story is. And that's what I use. And so then I might figure out which day I'm going to shoot it. So, you know, especially because of my day job and the time of year we're at, where the sun is, I usually am not shooting any videos during the week these days, just because like I don't have the daylight for it as well as the hours. And so what I'll typically do is like Saturday morning, I'm going out there and let me shoot this whole video, and I'll go out and, you know, like I just shot a video talking about this advice from my boss. And so I go out, start doing my chores and start recording. You know, I have this idea for an opening montage that I built into what I shot. And then from there, I like go into the story that I'm going to tell. And I'll usually sit down in front of the camera for like 20 minutes and tell a story. And then when I'm editing, typically what I'll do is I'll cut the two things together and intercut, so that it's not just one long cut of me talking, but I'm using the story to break up me talking. I'm using the B-roll to break up me talking. Like an example of that is the video I put out on Monday, where, you know, I oftentimes get emails from viewers asking, well, why isn't your wife in more of your videos? And what, like, how can you feature her? And like, what can you do there? And so for that one, what I decided to do is, well, let me talk about why my wife's not there. I know that will be interesting to people and it'll get people clicking. And then if I can tell it in a story talking about our relationship and sort of how we think about the farm and doing things together, like I can bring it all together like that, that would be what's interesting. And so I kind of shot just myself doing the chores, but then also sat down and just kind of riffed and recorded like a voiceover here in my office. And then I matched those two things up to make the video.
Misty's asking if you use TubeBuddy.
I used to use TubeBuddy, but I found that it's not really worth the effort, money, or time. Keyword search I find to be not great for growing your channel, really. I think when I ditched trying to do keywords, and when I ditched trying to like win with YouTube search and just focused on trying to tell good stories and just focused on having stories out there that would make people want to click and make people want to watch, that's when like the growth of my channel really kicked into high gear. You know, you think about it, right? The behavior of somebody who's searching YouTube for videos and then clicking on that video, usually they're going to that video not because they just want to watch something and are kind of chilling out after a long day or killing some time, but because they're like trying to install a toilet. And so the last thing they want to do is see your whole channel, have some sort of opening music montage, you know, click the like button, click the subscribe button. Usually they're like, show me how to fix my toilet, and then I'm going to go get to work. And so like I find that search traffic on my videos is like the worst type of traffic. What's so much better is browse and suggested traffic, which usually comes by having people click on your videos a lot and having people watch your videos for a long time. And so that's why the more I've focused on telling a good story and engaging people, I found that that's made such a bigger difference versus search. And I always see TubeBuddy really as a search tool. So I'm not a fan of it. I don't use it anymore at all.
Okay, and then Crystal, obviously Copper Kettle, do you feel you get the same value out of your TikTok that you do YouTube?
They're really, really different. So I, first dipped my toe into TikTok about a year ago and like didn't do anything much with it. And then back in September, I decided, let me try to like really put some effort in and try to learn what works on this platform and try to grow a following. And so since September, I've been steadily posting, and the production time, the effort, and how you do TikTok work is very different than YouTube. So for example, I would say I probably dedicate about half an hour a day to TikTok. That's shooting and editing, getting all my content out there. But when it comes to YouTube, I'm probably spending, I don't know, somewhere between 10 and 11 hours per video, maybe somewhere between, say, 7 and 11 hours per video, something like 15 to 20 hours per week for 2 YouTube videos versus I probably put out, I don't know, 10 to 15 TikToks a week. And so it's a lower effort, I think, overall. But the return is a little bit lower too. So if I look at because I'm monetized on both YouTube and on TikTok and make way more money on YouTube than TikTok, like it's not even close. But what I have found is I've tapped into a whole different audience than my YouTube channel. I'd only say that there's maybe 25% overlap between the two platforms. And what I've also found is it's created just a whole new set of reach. And so right now, my TikTok following is larger than my YouTube subscriber base. So it's just very different. They're not apples to apples. But I think that there's a lot of value in being diversified and doing both so that I'm not completely wedded to YouTube. And like, if suddenly something changes with Google and YouTube, then like I've got nothing that I've built over the years just disappears. And so to have like another platform or two that you're working with, I think is valuable.
Yeah.
Morgan, I know a lot of larger creators have multiple channels. Maybe not so much just because I guess they're doing it to semi-protect themselves for the overreaching authority that YouTube sometimes exhibits. What's your thoughts on that?
I guess there's two things with it. Having 2 channels is meaning if I'm going to do it right, it means double the effort. And at this stage of the game, I don't have the time or energy for that. I also will say this, and I think I'm very different than a lot of other people in how I view this one, where a lot of people are up in arms of YouTube censoring me or this social media platform censoring me or they're doing this to me or that to me, as if like, this company that's offering you a free platform, or sometimes a platform that they're paying you to use, like, doesn't have any sort of right to monitor or manage their content. YouTube is a business, and Google's running it like a business to generate income for their shareholders. Like, you have to, like, accept and acknowledge that. And so if people are creating content that is perceived negatively, is going to damage their brand and reputation, meaning Google or YouTube's brand and reputation on a broad collective level, by all means, they should be taking action, and they should be really thinking about it. And look, the way YouTube generates money is by getting advertisers to pay to use them. And if you're having brand and reputation issues, and if you're being perceived as a negative, you're going to see a lot of advertisers walk away from you. And so, like, they're just protecting the franchise when they do stuff like that. And I would say it's my accountability as a creator to be very familiar with their content rules and not run afoul, and even be careful about even trying to bump up against the line. And so I personally don't see that as much of an issue. I know this is probably really unpopular and pissing people off as I say this, but I think that there's an accountability that the creator has as they go on somebody else's platform, meaning YouTube being not my platform. It's just something that I use as a tool to, grow my farm. And so I don't get up in arms. I'm not significantly worried about it. I do think it's important to be diversified, but I don't do it from a standpoint of I'm worried I'm going to get censored.
Well, in all fairness, I mean, I guess I threw this censored out there just because, and I'll just throw this out. It happened to us, as you well know. We have been swatted. Mm-hmm. We had the sheriff's department.
Morgan knows about that.
Morgan knows.
We were
about
also pizzaed, I think, too.
Yes, we were pizzaed.
we were pizzaed and swatted 2 nights in a row.
Yeah.
But and we have somebody here. I'm going to let them in because they're from Australia. Here is
Lordy,
calling in here. And I'm sure he will hear and just kind of wait for me to acknowledge him, Darren. Please hold on here a minute. What was it, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks.
Yeah, I posted it on the small YouTube group today because of that question that
3 weeks ago
someone put on
we get
there.
an email. Now, we've been doing YouTube since 2016.
Yep.
I don't feel that our channel runs afoul of anything. We certainly don't make videos for kids. We're not highly into bang bangs and other things where you don't show gory stuff on the show. We just don't. It's just not what we're about. But they sent us an email out of clear blue sky and said, "You're done. You're demonetized."
For a video or for your channel?
The channel.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
AdSense.
Yeah. It was a big hit.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And there was no warning. There was no nothing. It doesn't work that way.
Did you go through the appeals process?
Sure
Yes,
did.
we
Yeah,
did.
it took-
It was reinstated.
It came back this
3
past,
weeks.
Yeah.
this past weekend.
But but that's 3 weeks later. So we lost 3 weeks.
Look, I that sucks, and I feel the pain on that one. Like, I totally get it. I guess my point is this, though, and that gets into why I think there's the value in diversifying, for sure. Because, yeah, like, your hands are in the fate of an organization that, like, there is no customer service number to call.
No, there's not.
So yeah, I totally get that.
And that's why I kind of asked, because we've kicked it around. We are wondering maybe we should, because Sherry loves to do the cooking videos and things like that. I would like to maybe focus perhaps a little bit more on the tech side. Maybe we need to create another channel and just use the one for the live streaming, like what we currently have here right now, and that's our primary gig with it. And go off into and just create something else. I understand what you're saying about more work, but I certainly don't want to be put through that again. I mean, we're not making big bucks, but we were getting a check every month, barely, and we're not this time because of what happened. It's not retroactive. When they demonetize you, when they shut you down, they shut you down. They shut us down. We couldn't get super chats. We couldn't get all of our members were notified that, hey, they're not here anymore. It was not pleasant.
Yeah, no, I could. That sounds like a horror story. I guess, here's the one thought I'd throw at you though. With that, I would be more personally inclined to focus on adding a new platform and exploring a new platform versus trying to create a second YouTube channel, unless you feel like you have such a strong and distinct value proposition for that new channel that it would differ from what you do, say, on this channel. So, because I actually think that new platforms and having yourself on a new platform has this benefit. Like just earlier this week, I got into, I don't know if anybody else is using this, but Signal. It's this very interesting concept, very different than any other sort of platform I've seen, where like it's basically people talking in these like little chat rooms, like you're like actually talking. So it's audio based. And you can just go in and listen, and you can like raise your hand and be invited to talk in the room. And it's just these conversations that are happening that are just really interesting discussions. And I personally see a lot of potential for that. And so right now I'm in kind of just the explore and listen and see what it's all about mode. But I wouldn't be surprised in a couple of weeks if you see me pushing to say, hey, check out my new Signal room. And yeah, this is a conversation we're going to have tomorrow night, or I cross post a live that I'm doing on YouTube on Signal. And so I think there's actually benefit in constantly looking at new platforms and seeing what you can get and how you can grow, because it just creates new avenues and new opportunities for growth that I think, just dedicating time to a second channel, I don't know.
The only thing is, from a monetary standpoint, YouTube is the game in town.
From a ad revenue perspective, yes. Yeah. I think the one thing I would throw out there is, and I'm just getting to a size where I'm finding it within TikTok, is that sponsorship is also a very viable revenue model, and so don't neglect that part. Just if you're just looking at the AdSense dollars.
So, okay. Well, anyway, I wanted to throw that out.
And you have Darren on hold, and I have questions here to ask.
Well, actually, Darren is in the room. He's just been very, very kind to be.
He's behaving.
Waiting. He's behaving. So
he said he can do that.
Darren can behave. It is possible.
He has said he can do that.
So Morgan, we have a gentleman from leastwise he
down under.
He claims to be a gentleman from down under.
I never claimed to be a gentleman.
Ooh.
So Darren, go right ahead.
All right. I mean, first of all, it is wonderful to have two of the biggest supporters of the small homesteader community in the one place. I mean, you guys are both fantastic. You've both got the Facebook groups, and you help to support all of us creators. You help to support us, and it's wonderful.
Oh, thanks, Darren.
Now, Morgan, 100% agree with you. I tell people all the time, we're playing in YouTube's backyard. We have to follow their rules. Unfortunately, the stuff that happened to Daryl and Sherry, that someone else put them in, someone else saying they broke the rules and they didn't. But we've got to follow their rules. It's their backyard. It's their rules.
True.
I've had people say to me, there's freedom of speech. There's no freedom of speech in YouTube because it's YouTube. It's their backyard. It's not defined by a country. And people get confused about that.
Yeah, no, completely. It's one of those things where, there's a distinction between, a right to speak on something and a platform to speak on, and the two are not one and the same.
No. And people get carried away, especially Americans, because you've got the amendment with the right to free speech, whereas most of the rest of the world doesn't have the right to free speech. And they go, but we've got the right to free speech. But you're playing in their backyard. You're not playing by American rules. And it's hard for people to get their heads across that. Now, quickly on other platforms. I'm an old person, so I don't play on a lot of other platforms.
Old person.
I am old, Sherry.
Yeah.
All right. So things like TikTok. How do you go on TikTok? Are you putting across your homesteader type content? because I've never actually opened TikTok.
Yeah, so I mean, that would be the first step I'd say for anybody. So if somebody's watching this and saying, "Hey, how do I get started on TikTok?" What I would suggest is this: download the app, create an account, and then for at least a week, just spend half an hour a day scrolling through videos. Because I think that the big mistake I often see people make when they go to a new platform and they don't know what it's all about and they have no idea what it is, they don't just like stop and get there and listen for a minute and see what's going on. And so what you want to do is just do that and look for maybe channels or things that you like to follow in general. Search hashtags for topics that you find interesting, and you'll start to find that the algorithm will sensitize to you pretty quickly. Once you've done that, like, be sure to check out Goldsaw Farm. And, like, if you do that and just spend a week just digesting content and experiencing it, you're going to start to see what's popular, what's not popular, what works as a format, what doesn't. And that will give you some ideas for what you should be doing yourself. TikTok specifically, right? It's so much of it's built on riffing on the same joke that other people have riffed on. So using the same piece of audio that somebody else did, but doing your own twist to it. Certain dance challenges are popular. What I've found for me personally that's worked really well with TikTok is just to provide little short, less than 60-second stories about stuff going on the farm. The most popular TikToks that I have, the ones that have like more than 1 million views, are usually like me like going out at night, walking around the property with Toby Dog, or me explaining how much money our farm made in 2020, or me talking about how we hatch goose eggs, and like actually telling somebody and showing them in a very, very quick way. And that's what I've found works the best for me. That's not going to be for everybody, but it's tell a short story. Make sure you've got a great hook. Like within TikTok, if you're not grabbing somebody in the first 3 seconds with something that's interesting or funny or educational, they're not going to want to stick with it. There's no time for ums and uhs and being slow moving. Like, you really have to be bang, bang, make your content as short as possible. I said, like, you can do it as long as 60 seconds, but usually you're most effective when you're somewhere between 25 and 45 seconds. And really focus on getting them as tight as possible, and just keep doing it too, because some of it just comes from practice and the repetitions and getting a sense of what's going to work and what's not. But really, Darren, what I would say, if you want to get into TikTok, you just got to download and you just got to dive in and start watching and then start experimenting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it sounds like a good, well-structured short, which isn't what's hitting on YouTube at the moment. It's just cat videos.
Yep.
Well, yeah. Let's stop here for just a moment. It's my understanding, listening to you, Morgan, that you're putting TikTok on one bookshelf and YouTube on another bookshelf, and really not crossing the two of them. And yet, YouTube is desperately trying to get some of the TikTok traffic with this new little thing that they call shorts.
Yeah. So there's two questions in your question, I feel like.
Yeah,
so the one part is, in terms of overlap between YouTube and TikTok, I cross post all the time, but I reformat for the platform. So I will oftentimes take a video that I did on YouTube, and I will make it's usually like a 10 to 15 minute video, and I might make 2 or 3 TikToks out of that are less than 60 seconds. And usually what I'm doing too is you need to reformat. Like, you can't be lazy and just take the widescreen YouTube video and plunk it in there and hope that it performs, because it won't. But rather, what I do is I go in and I resize each shot. In fact, here, let me show you guys how this actually works for me right now. Can you see my desktop here?
Yep.
No, hold on. For some reason, it's not showing. We were doing just swell there. Now, hold on a minute. I don't know why it decided it was not going to.
Okay, well, while he's doing that, let me go back up here because Silhouette Farm had a question. Let me see if I can find it.
Okay, I got it.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Now you got it.
I got it back.
All right, I'll show you this and then I'll hit your question real quick,
Okay.
Sherry. So basically what I will do is go in here and shoot my video, usually me talking on the phone.
Here on our farm, we sell 4 goose hatching eggs for $45.
And then what I do is I will go back and take old B-roll that I have, old footage I have, and layer that on top. But what's important is you can scale your video up. So I'll scale it up so that it actually crops out so that it works in a mobile format. And that way, when I post it on TikTok, it looks like it was designed for TikTok. And so I reuse videos, I reuse B-roll all the time between my YouTube and my TikTok. Sometimes in a YouTube video, I will take a TikTok that I made, if it was a really good one, and slip it somehow into a YouTube, and like I'll reference it and then cut to the clip. And so I find that that's an effective way to be really efficient. So like I said, I'm only spending a half an hour a day on, usually somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 to 5 TikTok videos. And the way I get away with doing that is I'll usually shoot something really quick while I'm outside doing my chores. And so that's probably 5 minutes worth of work. And then I come inside and edit for about 20 minutes and, I'll have what I need kind of cut together. And so I will do that part. The second part of your question, though, it was specific to like how I'm thinking about shorts. And what I've found is this. When shorts first came out, I started posting my TikToks, my longer, better TikToks to shorts. And I don't know if it's just because of what my subscribers typically expect. People were getting annoyed and I was getting a lot of unsubscribes. So even though I had like a short or two that hit, pretty decent viewership, it was actually hurting the rest of my channel. And so I haven't posted a short in like 2 months. I don't know if they've changed things up and it's not popping up in people's subscription feeds anymore, if they're not looking to watch shorts. But until YouTube fixes that, I don't expect to make many shorts on my end.
Okay.
I'm finding shorts is just so disorganized in the way that they're pushing it forward. And I've got one that's been going for over a month, and it's just lightly tapping the short shelf every now and again. Yeah, I'm getting 1,000 views every 2 days on it.
Right, exactly. It's I find it's definitely a mess there, and I agree with you. So like I'm shying away from that. The other mess that I'm sort of shying away from, even though I post every so often, is Instagram, because I feel like Instagram has turned into this weird thing where I don't know if I should be doing photo posts, story posts, reels, or IGTV, and it's like so confusing about what format you're supposed to do for what. I forget what Instagram actually calls them, medium. It's like it's really a mess. So I've been lately shying so much away from Instagram, and so most of my focus these days has been on YouTube, TikTok, and like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if you see me getting into Signal in the not too distant future.
Well, and for those of you out there wondering at all, it's much easier to go from a 16:9 format into a portrait mode than to go back the other way, if you ever decide to change your videos.
Yeah, the other hack that I'll throw out there for people who are looking to dual purpose between, portrait and widescreen or landscape is I started shooting everything in 4K at this point, because I edit everything in 1080p, but if I shoot everything in 4K, that gives me enough space so that if I need to reframe, I don't lose any resolution when I reframe for mobile. And so, just if you're thinking about, shooting something, like I'll shoot something with my Sony camera or my GoPro, and then I can reformat it pretty easily so that it works for mobile, just as long as I'm very conscious of how I frame my shot.
But now, just to clarify with everybody, that's not to just do 4K and try to upload 4K and edit 4K. That's not the point that he's making here. He's doing this to get together more surface area to edit. Is that correct?
That is 100% correct, Daryl. Yes.
Okay. Because 4K is kind of useless on YouTube. I mean, if you got a phone, you're not seeing anything in 4K. I mean, it's just a fact. However, we do have.
Right, I've got a grinder running in the background, so I'm going to get off.
I'm sorry. Sherry still has a question here.
Nice talking with you, Darren.
Take care, Darren.
Thanks, Darren.
And another big shout out. Thanks for that video you done with Jess. That was awesome, mate, to see two creators who've made it big and telling their backstory. That was fantastic.
Well, we'll probably do another one in a week or two too, so stay tuned for that. Just keep looking in the Facebook group.
Awesome. Thanks, mate. Catch you later.
Hey, man.
Okay, Morgan, Silhouette Farm. Do you think having opening music and a short intro on every video is important?
So I have found that intros and music montages both are retention killers. And the more and more I get away from doing a long, like mood setting music montage in the beginning, and the more that I've like ditched any sort of opening like title or anything, the better your retention rate is and better your videos perform. And the more you just get right into it and hit it at 1,000 miles an hour for people, the better that video is going to perform. And so I would strongly advise everybody to get away from, doing the long montage that I feel like is like you see in every single homesteading video, and doing like shots and starting slowly and feeling like you're trying to create a movie. Like YouTube's a different format, and like get into it. Like get on camera and make sure people know right away within the first 10 seconds, like, what's this video about? What's going to make me want to watch this, and what's going to hook me? And the more you can focus on that hook, the more successful you're going to be. So yeah, ditch the openers.
Unless it's a live stream.
Yeah, live streams are a whole different beast. Yeah, that's specifically for uploaded content.
Greenwich Homestead, do you find that being the fun storyteller hinders being the teacher? I'm at a crossroads on what personality I want my channel to have.
That's a good one, Kim. I mean, I would just say be you. I think the more you try to fit some sort of archetype or be one character or another, I think people really see that, and that's not why people really watch YouTube. I think the more you can be yourself, the more you can just try to put yourself out there and try to connect with people. I think that in and of itself will make you more interesting and engaging to watch. And so, if you want to tell stories and you feel like you're good at telling stories, great, just go for it. If you also like to teach people stuff and really be educational, you can do that too. And just try to find what's that balance that works for you and your personality in terms of the type of person you are.
And within that same thing, Hidden Oaks Homestead is asking, what's your favorite content to publish?
I actually really liked the video I put out yesterday, where I don't do them a lot, where it's almost more like an essay, where the video footage is much more slice of life. Here's what's happening at the farm, but the story I'm telling is much, much more macro and sort of deep thoughts. And I think if I have something interesting to tell, I think it works really well. So I really enjoy those. The other type of video, though, that I do love is the type of video where I've got like an adventure or a challenge I'm doing, like where I'm doing a day in the life of one of my animals, or I'm trying to find something or trying to catch something. I love those. I love trying to tell those types of stories. Those to me are really fun.
And here again, Hidden Oaks, when did you start diversifying on different platforms? I feel like we're not big enough to start publishing on other platforms like Facebook. We're currently sharing videos, but not uploading separately.
I think that the sooner you can diversify and support doing multiple things well, the better. Because you might find that your growth on another platform far outstrips what you're doing on, like, say, YouTube or so. So for example, I got a friend of mine, Ben, over at the Urban Rescue Ranch, and he's got a YouTube channel, Urban Rescue Ranch. He's been doing pretty good with it, but he's got a couple million followers on TikTok, right? And so, YouTube stuff he's been trying to get it going, and it's growing slowly, but it hasn't been like TikTok, because he's like one of the most gifted TikTok creators I know. You can look for him. It's a ostrich plug. And like his TikTok's phenomenal. I don't know if you guys know Bill over at Open Honest Permaculture. He's got a YouTube channel, does some very nice videos, good work, does a lot of stuff with pigs. He also has a TikTok that he's up over 100,000 followers. And so you might find that the format for you is not YouTube. You might find Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or Signal or whatever it might be is actually the platform for you. So the more you can sustain other platforms and explore, I think the better. I think the other thing is, with so many of these platforms, the sooner you get in and the earlier you're in there and you're sort of moving on something, the more likely you are to establish yourself as a leader. And that in and of itself can help support some good growth. And so even though you might have less than 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, you could have thousands and tens of thousands of subscribers on a new platforms that's growing quickly.
Because TikTok doesn't have ads like YouTube.
It has ads.
Oh, does it? I haven't seen any ads.
Sarah, you must not be in the demographic.
Apparently not.
No, it has some pre-roll ads, some embedded ads.
Oh yeah, I guess I have some pre-roll. Yes, I have seen some pre-rolled ad.
It's not as much advertising as YouTube.
Right. Yeah, I need to take that back. I have seen some. Yeah, I wouldn't have known how to do TikTok if it wasn't for my granddaughter.
But is there self-advertising in TikTok that you can? In other words, okay, the advertising revenue out of TikTok is a very, very small piece. But can you market yourself through TikTok or Joe Blow Company wants to sponsor you and sell their widgets through your TikTok site? Can you do that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I'm actually gearing up to do an integration with the brand very soon on TikTok and only TikTok.
Okay, we won't ask you what it is. We'll let.
I can't say it yet.
Yeah, we'll just let you surprise us. So.
That's all the questions so far from the.
You've caught up on all the questions.
Wow, I can't believe that. That's it. Yeah. This is easy tonight. I was expecting a lot more, a lot harder ones too.
Well, I think that number one, I think you have really fascinated everybody that's in here. I think everybody that is in here knows you and watches you and is a fan of yours. I know we had some people that were fangirling. Is that what that is?
Fangirling, yes.
They were fangirling that you were on here tonight.
Yeah.
So.
And I won't mention names.
Oh, that's sweet.
Because she'll kill me.
But
what's that?
Gail Southern Living. This is Morgan from Goldshaw Farms.
So,
it's always awesome to hang out with you guys. I think I'm going to be on Monday Night Live too pretty soon, right?
Yes,
that's coming up.
Yep. And then there's those that didn't even know you were over 100,000 subscribers.
Oh yeah, no. I think I actually just cracked 220.
That's awesome.
By the way, little special guest for appearance for folks. We got Lil Barn Cat here.
Yeah, I saw him in the background.
She doesn't like the bright lights though.
Completely healed up.
Yeah, she is pretty much. I mean, she's slower than she used to be, and she's like fully an indoor cat now. But no, she's in good shape now. She's pretty happy, living the life.
So retired at an early age.
Exactly. She is now officially full-time house cat. Which I don't know. I was worried my allergies are going to go crazy. I think like the first month or two, I was really struggling, but. At this point, as long as I don't touch my face now after I was petting her, I'll be fine. And I just got to wash my hands. And it's kind of nice having a cat. I got to admit, I'm not a cat person, but I really, really like having her here. And she, especially during the day, she likes to hang out here in my office because it's warmer than other parts of the house.
Okay. Are you looking through, see if there's anything else we missed here?
Yeah. So far, we're all caught up. Just making comments here. Yeah, Darren says you're at 223,000.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
and I remember
awesome.
when you had, 2,500, if that?
I think I came on your first, like the first Monday Night Live I ever did. I know I had less than 500 subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable. And
There you go. It can happen, guys. All you got to do, the biggest things I would say are focus on being consistent and post consistently, and keep finding ways to make your next video better than your last video. And if you just do those two things, you'll find you make so much ground very, very quickly.
unfortunately, sure, you know what our mistake was when we found all these folks when they had little tiny channels. We didn't make them sign a contract and get a piece.
Is that what it was? Alrighty then.
Morgan's not even laughing at this.
Wait, I might have been watching the chat.
The Vineyard Chicks have a question. Do movie clips ever draw copyright issue? Yes, they do.
Yeah, so just so everybody knows, I play with fire when I include those clips. The way I sort of get around it, I've actually never received a copyright strike, never received any sort of issues from it, and so this has worked for me. But please take the full disclosure. I'm not giving advice here. You run your own risks. I find that if I do it for less than 5 seconds, I won't have an issue, and so that's the line that I draw. And then I also make sure that more than 95% of the video is my own original content. And I think that combination of things lets me fly under the radar with fair use.
That's true. Greenwich, do you make more selling hatching eggs, live chicks, or butchered birds?
So that's a good question. So for 2020, in terms of my numbers, in raw dollars, I made more in profit from selling butchered geese. But the hatching eggs were a close second. And then the live birds were a third. But if I'm actually doing my projections this year in terms of how I'm planning to hatch and sell stuff, I think actually that the hatched live baby birds is probably going to be the biggest, because I'm planning on I just got a brand new cabinet incubator here. And so I'm going to be doing a lot of hatching, and I'll have fewer eggs to sell for hatching, so shipping it, but I'll have more birds to sell. And I've got a pretty good waiting list going for people who want baby ducks, baby geese, especially baby geese. And so that might be the bigger one this year. I see this question. What is Signal? So Lynn, Signal is a new social media platform, and it's basically like rooms. And like picture yourself like walking into a room and like 4 or 5 people having a conversation, and you can listen in on that conversation. And you can even like raise your hand and get called on to join that conversation. And it's just basically you go in and listen to people talking about stuff, people talking about social media, talking about politics, talking about the business world. And it's been pretty interesting so far. I'm thinking of like, if I can find a couple more friends on there to just start doing a conversation or two about farm life or raising birds or growing trees or something, just kind of as a way to dip my toe into it. 'Cause it's brand new. And like, I think it's actually, you need to get like invited to get in so far. So it's like they're kind of like doing like an exclusive sort of thing to market it, but it's going to open up pretty quickly. And like, if you get on a waiting list, I think they make you wait like 2 weeks and then they let you get in. You can find, just look for Signal like on your app store and you can find it. Hamiltonville Farm. I don't know. Signal might be like Clubhouse. I don't know Clubhouse, so I'm not sure the difference. Did I lose Daryl and Sherry?
No, we are still here, but for some reason this dropped off again, so I'm getting it back. I don't know why it's doing this to me either. It normally does not. But I know I have had this issue before with Zoom. So, but they can still hear you.
Okay, cool. So in Copper Kettle Farm, so Signal, like it can be a one-on-one platform if you want, but it's actually like what I've found more interesting about it is when it's like a group of people hanging out and discussing stuff.
And they do have Signal for desktop also, just to let you know, but you have to have it on your phone first before you can download it to your desktop.
Oh, interesting. I haven't even actually tried to use that yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So any other questions?
Well, we got Hank in the room here, and he says, hello, Morgan. Always appreciate your advice. You're always spot on. Hank Hamilton, Hamiltonville Farm, our tractor guy out of Florida.
Yeah, I've actually been watching some of those videos lately as I continue to learn and get up on the curve with my tractor. Slowly but surely. I actually just bought a subsoiler. I don't know if you guys are familiar. Like, so it's this attachment that lets you like kind of rip into the ground and then drag. I'm doing sort of keyline contours around my orchard. Like I did it a few years ago and haven't done it in a while. And so I'm going to start doing that regularly now that I have the tractor.
Okay, just to create the swales?
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
Or just to help keep them carved.
Yeah, yeah. Because otherwise they'll mold back into the hill.
Exactly, erosion, you know?
All right. Anything else you'd like to share with us, or?
I don't know. I think that's all I got, but it's good hanging with you guys tonight. And thanks for everybody for coming.
been
I'll be talking soon. And like I said, I think, what's it, like 2 or 3 weeks I'll be on Monday Night Live.
Sherry's pulling out the book right now.
He is, let's see, that's March. February 15th.
February,
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, cool.
February 15th, so a couple weeks.
And then the week after you is Roots and Refuge.
All right, there's a good group of folk.
Yeah.
Well,
We
and
we got some right after, and then Deep South Homestead, then Hamilton Farm, then Stivers. Oh, then we go overseas.
Wow, you're bringing everybody out for like sweeps week in February.
Yep. Then we go to Australia, to Darren, and then Big Bear Homestead.
Big Bear Homestead. And, well, and it doesn't stop there.
Oh no, we got them all the way through. That's pretty cool. Yep.
So,
Awesome. Well, have a great night, guys.
Morgan,
Take care, Morgan. Thank you so much.
thanks
All
so
right,
much.
see ya.
Everybody, have a wonderful week. Take care, and don't forget Thursday. Hope to see you all on Thursday. Take care, everybody. Good night. Bye-bye.